Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Mind Body Blend. And in the month of March, we are focusing on finding length. So spending a little bit of extra focus on flexibility. There is many ways we can work on stretching our muscles. And this month we're focusing a little bit more on myofacial release. And I have a foam roller today. If you have one, great. Or if you've made a modified version, awesome. I'll give you some options for what we'll be doing today if you do not have a foam roller, so not to worry. I also have a tennis ball today. We're going to cover a little bit of what we did last week with the tennis ball. I have light hand weights. I have a pair of 3s, and I also have a yoga strap and a chair. So one of the ways we can work on flexibility is called dynamic stretching, which essentially is movement through a good range of motion and lengthening those muscles while we are moving. So for instance, if I just reached over and kept this movement going, this is determined to be dynamic flexibility. We also have static. So if I take that arm and I hold for a long period of time, that's a static stretch. So we'll be combining both of those today. A little bit of balance work as well. Make sure you're taking the options that work best for your body today. Really come inside, listen to how you're feeling today, and then go from there with your class. So let's come to your mat, and I'd like for you to grab your yoga strap if you have it. You can also use a necktie, a kitchen towel, a winter scarf, and bring your legs out to wide position 2, toes turned out a little bit, and take the hands about shoulders width apart, maybe a little wider on your yoga strap. Start with a couple shoulder rolls. So just start to loosen up through those shoulders, bringing them up, back, and down. Just starting to get the synovial fluid moving in that joint capsule just a little bit. And then we'll inhale, bring the arms up. See what your range of motion feels like for you today. And then exhale, let those arms lower. Whatever rate of movement that feels good for you today, just breathe in, stretch, breathe out. Now this time we'll inhale, bring it up, side bend over to the right, and come up and lower down. And inhale up, side bend left, and up and down. Just one more each side. So we are not really holding the stretch. We're kind of moving through that range of motion with dynamic flexibility. One more. And come together. Good. Now sink down into a plie. This is our squat. And then lift the arms, side bend, and up. Lower the arms, squat. Raise up. Starting to warm up through the lower body, the legs. Feel free to slow this down if you'd like, or to do a little quicker pace. Now we're checking in with our knees, our hips, our ankles, our shoulders, our spine. Last one to each side. And side stretch. And then lower those arms right here about to shoulder level or a little bit lower. Make a circle around to the right. And then bring it off to the right and bend that right knee. So you're in a little bit of a side lunge. Then circle the arms to the left. Bend the left knee, side lunge. So I'm slightly pivoting on my heel. So as I go into that side lunge, I pick up my toe and straighten that foot out a little bit more to that direction. Keeping my knee tracking over in the direction of the second and third toe. And there's a little intensity on the strap, so I keep it nice and tight all the way through the circle. Starting to stretch through the waist Inhaling on the circle. Exhaling on the lunge. One more each side. Mind-body connection, the 3 B's, the brain, the body, and the breath. Come back to the center. Release your arms down. Take a couple shoulder rolls to finish. Now I have my chair off to the side, and I have the low portion of the chair facing me. So I want you to do the same and just face your chair. We've got that strap. Extend your right leg out onto the chair. So you should feel just a little gentle stretch in your hamstring. Take the strap above the head. Inhale, stretch. Exhale and fold over that leg in a dynamic fashion. So maybe the first time just coming down a little bit, then back up. Now you don't have to have your yoga strap to do this. You can certainly set it down if you feel more comfortable with balance and just reach your arms up. And then as you come forward, you can place your fingertips on the chair or your fingertips gently on the shin. Exhaling to come forward, nice breath. So we're moving through whatever range of motion feels good for you in your hamstring. Dynamic flexibility. One more repetition. And then hold it. Find a static stretch. So you can bring your hands to the chair if you like them here on your shin. Just try not to press on your knee or lock out your leg. So you want to have a little tiny bit of bend in that knee there. This should feel like a wonderful stretch. Take 2 more breaths. One more breath. And then inhale, bringing your strap with you, come up. And just exhale to lower the arms. And bring that foot off of your chair. Just notice how that feels now as compared to the left side. Extending your left foot out onto the chair. You can have a little flexion in your ankle as well, which will really increase that stretch in the posterior chain. So we'll breathe in, stretch up. Breathe out. Oh, this side feels tight this morning. So go to your own edge each time. So the idea is not necessarily to push way beyond your boundary here when we're working through our dynamic stretching. It's just a comfortable range of motion. So we're allowing those muscles to take a break when we come up and to lengthen when we come forward. Just gentle stretching. But you might notice as you start to loosen up, you can come a little bit further forward each time. 2 more repetitions. This is definitely balance challenging work as well. So you're stabilizing on that standing leg. 1 more repetition. Inhale. Exhale, take it forward and stretch. Now, if you have no pain in your lower back, you can curve your back forward a little bit. Or if you have any issues with low back pain, you might want to keep your back straighter, more in a neutral spine, and not take that stretch quite as deep. Like you to determine what feels best for you in your body. Let's take 2 more breaths here in our static stretch. And 1 more breath. And breathe in, stretch up. And lower those arms down. Release the foot from the chair. Ah, that feels so great this morning. So place your strap here in front of you for a moment. I'd like to have your hands free so you can use them for balance as necessary. We'll bring our right knee up about 90 degrees. You can either point or flex your foot, and then start to send that leg behind you, reaching your fingertips down to maybe tap your chair. When we're here, our pelvis is level, the leg is extended nice and long, but it doesn't have to be high. Now engage your core, release the chair, come back up, bring that knee back up, swing it through slowly, extending it back, tighten the buttock on that right side, your glute is engaged. And at your own pace, several repetitions here. Now, if you're struggling with balance, you can always tap your foot to the floor before you lift the knee or extend it back. So you can come through, give your foot a little touch to the floor, get your balance, and then bring it back up. There's a little soft bend in your standing leg. You're going to start to feel that glute really firing here on your stabilization leg. Let's do 2 more repetitions. One more. Send it back. And then bring it back up, lifting the knee to finish. And then set that foot down to the floor. Ooh, maybe a little shake out for that standing leg. Okay, stabilize on your right foot. Pick up your left knee. Find your balance. Ankle either pointed or flexed. Take a breath. And then send that leg through. Now, if you don't need balance, you don't have to touch your chair. You can maybe reach the arms forward or at heart center, anywhere that feels good for you as we're focusing on finding length while we're balancing and moving through dynamic flexibility. So each time you come to the chair and put your hands forward, you should feel somewhat of a stretch in your standing leg hamstring. But that just depends on your flexibility. Maybe for you, you don't feel too much, but it is a dynamic stretch. So when we come up, our hamstring is shortened. When we go back, our hamstring is lengthened. So it's just another way to do that dynamic stretching like we did when we had our heel on top of the chair. Let's do 2 more repetitions. Send it back. Feeling some heat building in that standing leg. Really working, maybe even in your ankle, muscles of your feet. And then we'll come all the way up. Finish with the knee lift. And set that foot to the floor. A little shake out. Okay, we're layering on some strength work with this movement. So pick up your hand weights. Pick up your right knee. We'll bring the arms, bicep curl, overhead press. Lower your arms down, and then send your leg back through. Now, if you need to tap your hands to your chair, you can bring those weights forward and give yourself a little bit of bracing. If you don't need that for balance, pull your elbows back, do 1 row. Bring that leg through. Knee is up, bicep curl, overhead press. Come down, straighten the arm, swing the leg through. Ooh, balance, and do a row. Good, let's just do 3 more repetitions. Now if you're like, oh, Lisa, adding the weights is just too much for me today with balance, then just go back to that first version we did. Two more. Oh, I'm feeling that standing leg. It is really heating up. I'll be sure I give you some generous stretching on that in a bit and some foam rolling today. One more time with me. Ooh, it's a good thing our last month's topic was finding balance. And then we'll finish with the knee up, 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 and set that foot down. Wow. Are you still with me? You didn't log off, did you? Okay. Good news is we got one side done. Not so good news, we have one more to go. So let's start with that left knee lifted. Do a bicep curl. Arms press up. Lower the arms. Send the leg through. Either use the chair to balance your hands on or do a row. And come back up. Remember, you can tap your foot to the floor to get your balance, just like we did in the first sequence. We're only doing 5 repetitions, but they're slow and controlled. So the work is going to take us a while to get these done. Whoop, there's a balance loss there. Come in. 3 more. Send it back. Looking for great core control. 2 more. Make sure you're breathing also. Think about your focal point, your drishti, where you're looking. 2 more. Man, that standing leg is heating up. If you need to take a break, do so. Come back in. Might just take about 5 seconds to shake that leg out. Holy moly. Whose idea was this? One more, one more. And back. Row. Finish with the knee up. Ooh. And release it, shake out that leg. Wow. Okay, place both of your hand weights in your left hand. We'll take your right leg back out to the chair. So just as we did before, lengthen your spine and hinge forward until you feel a stretch in this right leg. We'll do a single arm row, so pulling that arm back and extending it down. So we're doing our weight training while we're holding our static stretch. If your weights are pretty light, you want to add more intensity to the arm work. Add a tricep kickback. So pull the elbow up, extend the arm behind you, bend, and lower down. Now, if this is feeling like too much to get that stretch done at the same time, you can just set that right foot down to the floor. So your option would be lower here and hinge forward, not as much hamstring stretch. Let's do 2 more repetitions. Pull it up. And 1 more. And then come up with your body. Step that foot off of the chair. Switch your hand weights over to your right hand. Left heel extends out to the chair. Hips are nice and squared. Hinge forward until you feel your stretch. Now, standing knee can be bent a little bit. Reach that right arm down. Pull it up. We're working the back of the shoulder, a little bit of upper back work. The biceps somewhat on the row. You go at your own pace. And if the weights are light, you want a little bit more. a row with a tricep kickback. Not too quickly with this movement, because then we start to get some momentum. So, wow, there's a lot for the brain to think about, because you've got a stretch going on in your left leg, so we're being mindful of that. And we've got our brain on this exercise. So if you need to take one of them out of the picture, feel free to do that. We'll do 2 more repetitions. And 1 more. Release it down, come up, take the foot away from the chair, and a little shake out with the legs. Okay, stepping out to the long way on your mat. We'll bring the arms right in front of you with elbows bent slightly. Step out to the right into a plie squat and bring the arms out. Close in, step out to the left, plie, and close. And I'm closing to ballet first position, but you can also close to parallel feet if you'd like. Good. Squat and come up. Now, if the shoulder raises just don't feel up for you today, here's a nice option. Upright row, not as intense on your shoulders, but the arm, upper arm, is still doing the same action. If you'd notice, when my arms come here, the upper arm is in the same position as when I'm here. So really, the exercise works the same muscle groups to some degree. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Come center. Bring both feet or both weights together. Step your feet a little wider. We'll take the right leg and cross behind into a curtsy lunge, reaching the weights over towards that side of your mat. Then step out to the right and extend your arms up. You can lift your leg up into arabesque. Drop the weight, step out, curtsy, step out, extend arms, arabesque. So we lower the arms, rotating the torso, bring it in, and rise. If pressing above the head doesn't feel okay for you today, then just come right in here to arabesque, find your balance, lift that leg up. We have 3 to go. Reach down. 2. Last one. And return center. So now the left leg crosses behind. We reach down. Curtsy. Step out. Press up. Arabesque. So these are our ballet terms, which we use in Pilates and bar classes. So you might not have heard them before in a traditional strength training class. It's kind of nice to know those definitions to some of the ballet terms. Reach. Good. Movement is very slow and controlled. Working through our core, as well as the lower body and upper body. 3 more repetitions. Two more. A lot of balance and stability work. 1 more. And bring the weights to center. Good. Position 2. Come down into a nice squat. As you come up, press the arms and reach. So always this option for overhead pressing, if it doesn't feel good for you, is an upright row. It's a great option. or you can reach above your head without your hand weights. So as we come up now, lift up off your heels, work your calves, and then squat. Press up, lift your heels up, combining those calf muscles into the exercise with balance. Now notice when you lift your heels, it throws your body weight forward. Woo! So you really have to brace the abs so you don't lose your balance. 3 more repetitions. Good. 2 more. 1 more time. Sink down into your squat and just come up. Close the legs together. Good. Release your weights down by your side. We're going to sit into a baby chair pose. So I have my chest lifted. Turn your palms to face behind you. Pull your shoulder blades back. As you lift the arms, feel a stretch in the front of the chest and lower down. Stretch, release. So we're getting strength training work for the back of the arms and a little bit of dynamic flexibility for the chest muscles. Squeeze it up. 4 more. And down. 3. Range of motion is just determined by your flexibility here. 2. 1 more. Release. Give your legs a break. Come on up. Roll the shoulders. Same position again. Baby chair pose. So I have a little bit of a forward lean, but it shouldn't look like this. So I'm setting back into the heels. Pull the elbows back. Feel that broadening through your chest. Straighten your arms. Bend to about 90 degrees. Straighten. Bend. Now scoop your abs in and up. Really tighten. Exhale. Inhale. 4. Good job. 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more time. And come up. So we're going to do 1 more set of those, combining the 2 exercises. So we take it down into our baby chair. Turn the palms to face behind you. We come up, bend your elbows, straighten, and lower down. Come up, elbows bend. Now you can also do this with your palms facing in your body. Up, bend elbows, straighten, lower. 5 more reps. Bend. 4 more. Lift. Bend. Extend. And down. 3 more times. We're breathing. Feeling those legs working isometrically. 2 more. Triceps and shoulders, prime movers. Last one here. And lower down, rise all the way up, roll those shoulders. Okay, time to get your foam roller. Come down to the floor. If you don't have a foam roller, you can maybe sit on a little cushion, a blanket that's been rolled up, just something to kind of elevate your body off the floor. We'll be sitting on the foam roller facing forward. Good. So I have my sitting bones right on the foam roller. I've given myself a nice comfortable position. Left knee stays bent. Right leg extends out with a toe point, and then turn your thigh open. Now, if you can, sit straight upright. Don't use your arms, use your core. If you need to bring your hands behind you a little bit for a little bit of support, that's okay as well. And we'll lift this right leg up and down, up and down. Good. Now, if you're finding it really hard to lift it when you're upright, try it with your hands behind you. This is going to feel like you have more room to lift that leg. Just try to use your abs and not hold your body weight up with your arms. 7 more. Lift. These are hard. 6, 5, 4, 3. Inner thigh coming up to the ceiling. 2 and 1. Bend that knee in. Relax. Maybe a couple shoulder rolls. Then we'll repeat other side. Right knee stays bent. Left leg extends. Roll that thigh open. Nice toe point. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. Now our goal is to keep this leg straight if you can. Then as you lift the leg, you get a little bit of dynamic length, flexibility behind that hamstring. If you need to lift it with a little bend in your knee, that's okay as well. Up. Now notice your abs, tighten them up. 8. Notice your shoulders. 7, 6, 5. We're almost there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee in. And then let your knees open up a little bit. Just relax your inner thighs, your hip flexors, your quads, and you can stretch forward. Oh, I got a little pop in my lower back. Just gave myself my own adjustment today. Just a nice, easy stretch here. Okay, close in, coming up. Switching back to that right leg, we're going to make a square. So you can point or flex the foot. We come up, out, down, across. Up, out, down, across. 3. And in. 4. Now, if you're really having a hard time doing this exercise, you're miserable, lay down on your back, and you can still do it with your other knee bent. 3 more. Up, out, down, and in. 2 more. Ooh. 1 more. Up, out, down, and in. Bend that knee in towards you. Couple shoulder rolls. Refine the length of your spine. Send your left leg out. Now remember, you can lean back a little bit. This is going to make it easier, but try not to use your hands for a lot of support. Okay, make that square. Up, out, down, across. We have 8 repetitions. Here's 3. Now your square might look tinier. That's okay, whatever square you can do. 5. Good, 3 more. 6. Woo. And 7. 1 more time. My square is getting smaller. And close it in and rest. Okay, we're going to do a nice foam rolling movement for your glutes. So what I want you to do from this position is take your right ankle, bring it up, and cross it over your left thigh. Now this already might be a really big stretch, so this leg here can lower down a little bit more. Or if you want more stretch, bring that leg in towards you so that you really get this nice hip release. We'll just hold here for a couple of breaths. Nice long spine. So if this is all you want, you can stay here. You can be doing this on the floor without a foam roller. Absolutely fine. If you want a little bit more to get into that myofascial release, start to roll over onto your left hip and bring your right hip, bring your right arm behind you a little bit. So now I've leaned into that glute. And you can stay still, or you can start to use this leg to roll yourself back and forth on the foam roller. Just moving along the length of that muscle nice and slowly. So crossing the ankle over the thigh, what that does is it puts the muscle on stretch. So we have lengthened it. If this is too much for you, then you take that piece out and you can uncross the ankle and you can just lay over on that glute and roll yourself forward and back. It's not going to be as intense, but it still gives you a nice massaging of the fascia in the glute. Try to use your core so that you're not putting all your body weight in that hand behind you, and you're using your legs or the one leg to push yourself forward and back to roll. Try not to use your arms to do that. Now, if you find a really tender spot, you want to hold on to it, just stay there. Let's take 3 more breaths. If you haven't done much foam rolling, the first time you do it, it can be really intense. So you might have to reduce the amount of time that you're rolling. 1 more breath. And then you'll just roll up back to neutral, uncross that ankle, and then readjust yourself on the foam roller. Get yourself nice, comfortable on the sitting bones. Take that left ankle, bring it up, cross it over the right thigh. And I always like to put a little bit of a flex in this ankle because that tightens these muscles in the shin and it helps to keep the stability of your knee in place, that integrity of the knee joint. So you're not twisting at your knee, you're twisting here at your hip. So we're stretching those deep external rotators, the piriformis, gemellus, and if you have sciatic nerve pain, this is a really good one for you to do. So just a couple more breaths here, sitting up tall, or you can fold yourself forward, deepen this a little bit. So this is a version of pigeon or figure 4 stretch. All right, let's come up. This left hand reaches behind you to the floor. Just softly roll over onto that left glute. You might just want to test the waters and stay here for a second. Make sure this is going to be okay for you. Then if you'd like, start to use this leg to begin to roll slowly forward and back. So there's a lot of different thinking about foam rolling. You know, some people say, you know, you should always just roll one direction, or, you know, you shouldn't roll, you should find a spot and stay still. So the jury's kind of out on the correct way to do your foam rolling. And I'm still learning about it, still studying. And what I really think is important is that you not go too vigorously, you're gentle with it, and you're conscious of what you're feeling. You should never really roll onto a bone or to a joint. So we're staying into that muscle, into the connective tissue, into the fascia. And then if you find a spot you want to linger on, we've got 3 breaths here holding. Relaxing that muscle, 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Slowly roll yourself back up, uncross the ankle, and readjust yourself there on the foam roller. So for this next core exercise, if you're feeling really tippy sitting on top of the foam roller, you can take it out from underneath you and just sit down onto the mat, because this is definitely an unstable surface. So you might be feeling a little bit nervous about tipping. So we'll keep the feet about hips distance apart. Reach the arms forward. I'm leaning back. Pick that right knee up, extend the leg straight, bend the knee, and set the foot down. Left knee comes up, straighten the leg, bend, and down. So same thing holds true with this exercise. If you're having a hard time keeping your back upright, you can reach your fingertips back behind you and lean back a little bit. It does make this exercise a little bit more doable. And I've got my hands behind me, but I'm only on the pads of my fingers. So I'm not using my entire body weight or upper body weight into my wrists. Let's do one more on each side. And switch. And relax. So what I really try to do in LisaBug classes is give you something that works, maybe add a little more, and you can choose whether you'd like to add the next step. So take your fingertips behind you just lightly. Pick up the right knee, and as you straighten your leg, reach this left hand across. So you're rotating, bend the knee and set your hand back behind you. Left knee comes up. As you straighten it, reach across and lower down. So we're adding a little bit of rotation in the spine, and you can start to make this fluid, all one movement. As you straighten that leg out, you should feel some dynamic flexibility in your hamstring. If you're pretty tight there, you'll feel a lot. If you're pretty flexible in your hamstring, you might not feel much of a stretch at all behind the leg. But we're activating our quadricep, activating our abs. Good. One more each side. And release. So your last option, if you dare try it, is to keep both feet slightly off the floor. So I'm reaching back with my hands. My feet are up, I'm balanced. As I straighten my right leg, my left arm extends over. And over. Ooh, really challenging. Good job. Those feet can come down. 4 more. 3 more. 2. And 1. And relax. Set those feet down. Extend your legs out and wrap your hands underneath your knees. And you're going to pull up a little bit and do a nice cat stretch. And just stretch those muscles all along your lower back. Sometimes they tighten up and we do that type of core work. So just round and stretch here. All right, releasing. So you need to keep your foam roller, but grab your tennis ball. And if you don't have one, you can kind of think of something that you could ball up that's got a little bit of substance to it. So we get really tight here in the upper back, neck, and shoulder area. So we're going to do a little bit of just easy pressure point work with the ball. So what I want you to do is come down onto the floor. You'll use your foam roller for the bottom of your knees to just give yourself a little bit of support to relax here. So knees are supported by the foam roller. When you roll down onto your back, we'll take that tennis ball. We're going to find a place behind the upper trapezius and just relax onto the ball there. And you might go, well, that's not quite it. Maybe I need to move it over here just a little bit more. And you're just going to relax and give yourself a little bit of gentle pressure here. You can also do this standing up against a wall instead of laying on your back. But sometimes the ball will get out from underneath you and fall on the floor. Excuse me. So if you're doing it up against a wall, what you can do is take your ball and put it inside a sock. So, kind of a long sock. So put it down in the bottom of a sock. And then you can hold onto the sock and you can throw it over your shoulder and get that ball in the right position. And then you can also kind of roll the ball and make some circles. But for today, we're just going to hold it in a spot, maybe adjust it, put it in a different spot, and just relax into it. Just 3 more breaths on this side. One more breath. And exhale. All right, so this is a form of gentle acupressure. So it's as if someone was taking their thumb and just pushing it into a spot back here. So take the ball now under that left side. And remember, it's not on a bone, so it's not going to actually be on your shoulder blade itself. It's where that muscly tissue is up in the upper trapezius. So as we hold, you might adjust and see where a better spot is for you. Ooh, I just found it. And then the goal is to relax. Try not to be tense. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. And we have the foam roller under our knees so that we're not feeling any work here in the lower body either. We're able to really relax through the low body. Three more breaths. And then exhale. Release that ball from behind your shoulder blades there. Now keep it close to you because we're going to finish our class with a little bit of ball work under the bottoms of the feet. But we'll do some core here. So bring your feet to the top of your foam roller. You can also be just feet flat on the floor. We'll bring the fingertips behind the back of the temple and do an abdominal curl. Crunch up and down. Relaxing your neck into your fingertips. Now we'll start to bring one elbow across to the opposite knee, just keeping your feet right on that foam roller or right on the floor. And notice how you're feeling in that upper back neck region that we just did the tennis ball. Now your last option is to bring the foot up that you're going across elbow to knee, bring it off the foam roller, set it back down, go to the other side. Cross. Really important to make sure you're not pulling on your head with your arms. So I really almost never interlace my hands behind my head because then there's more of a chance I'm going to pull and drag my neck forward. One more each side. And relax down. So feet are on the foam roller on your arches, arms by your side, tuck your tailbone under, imprint your spine, tighten your glutes, and lift your butt up off the floor a couple of inches. Then come back down and release. Why does this feel more intense than when you're bridging on the floor? because the foam roller can move. And your goal is to use those hamstrings to keep the foam roller still while you're coming up into bridge. So you're going to really feel this work behind the legs. If you're on the floor, feet are just flat like a normal bridge, coming up just a couple of inches and coming down. 2 more repetitions. Tuck, lift, and lower. 1 more. Imprint the spine. Tuck, lift, and lower. Now we'll hold a static bridge. So press into those feet. Tuck, lift, hold. Now if you're on the foam roller, roll out to your heels, then pull the foam roller back underneath your arches. Roll out, pull in. Oh, those hamstrings are working. 5 more. 4. Yowza. 3. I hope you're with me. 2 more. Let's do this together. And 1 more. And lower down. Now, if that was really tough, you could also keep your hips on the floor and just roll out and in and just really contract your hamstrings, digging them in. Okay, for all of that good work you did, we're going to go back to lengthening our hamstrings 1 more time. So come on up to a stand. Take your time to come up. And we'll be using our chair for a little bit of balance and your tennis ball. So last week we did some rolling under the bottom of the foot. So a little bit of release for the plantar fascia. So facing your chair, bring that tennis ball to the floor, put your right foot on top of it, and roll it forward and back. Similar to what we were just doing with the foam roller when we were in bridge pose. So you decide how much pressure you want to put into that foot as you're rolling the length of the fascia. Good. Now bring it right to the center of the arch and slightly push down. So I don't want you to make this where it's really painful, but you're stretching just like someone is pushing their thumbs right underneath the arch of the foot, that plantar fascia. Now roll all the way to your heel and the ball of your foot is down on the ground. So my heel is actually elevated slightly so that my foot's on an angle forward. Straighten both legs, take a nice breath in. Exhale and fold over. Maybe you're using your chair for balance. Maybe you're coming down, foam roller. Maybe you're coming down to the floor. So this is a version of pyramid pose with our heel lifted. So when our heel is lifted, we don't have as much stretch through our calf here. So we're focusing on lengthening that leg, just coming wherever we are today in the stretch. 1 more breath. And slowly bring yourself back up. Now I want to elevate the ball of the foot up, the heel down. So you're going to slide the ball forward so it's under the ball of the foot and your heel is on the floor. Now for me, I'm already feeling this is more intense just even standing here. I've got more stretch through my Achilles tendon, through my calf. So let's see how we go. Take a nice breath in. Exhale, lengthen forward. And as I mentioned before, there's 2 rules of thumb with whether or not you should round your back in a hamstring stretch or keep it straight. Oftentimes you get a better stretch if you flatten your back because this tips the sitting bone back. For other people, they get a better stretch if they round and they can come deeper and further forward. So if you have no back problems, then I want you to do the one that works best for you. If you have lower back issues, then what you really want to do is stay in a neutral spine, keep your abs engaged, and just take it to a gentle stretch wherever you feel comfortable. And thank you, Judith, for asking that question on Saturday in our Healthy Back class, because I love to weave that work into our other LisaBug classes and those questions as well. All right, let's slowly come up. Ooh, great stretch. Take your foot off the ball and just notice what you might feel, differences between right and left sides. And then we'll bring the ball on the left side and start to roll the length of the bottom of the foot. And you determine how much pressure you want to put into this. So years ago, I had a pretty tough bout with plantar fasciitis. Man, it was tough. I was teaching a lot of high impact step classes and aerobics classes and kickboxing classes, and I was really putting a lot of stress on that plantar fascia. I tried so many things to get rid of it, and in the end, it was myofacial release, deep tissue massage that got rid of that for me. So I really believe in this. So let's find a spot right in the center of the foot and just hold with whatever pressure you want to push down into it that's comfortable, and yet, let's face it, it's a little bit uncomfortable. But you know the difference between pain and between a deep stretch. Okay, so our first hamstring stretch will bring the ball to the heel. So we're in what we call plantar flexion when the toe is pointed down. This actually shortens the calf muscle a little bit. It's like we're wearing a high-heeled shoe. We'll take a breath in and exhale. Come down into that hamstring stretch wherever you are today in this moment. Relax your head, your neck. Remember, if it feels okay for your back, you can curve your back if you want. You can keep it straight and in neutral. Let the breath move slowly. And then slowly bring yourself up. And then we'll bring the ball itself to the ball of the foot. The ball to the ball, flexing that ankle. Heel is on the floor. Both legs are as straight as you can get them. That's why we have the chair. Maybe when you're folding forward, you are so tight, you're only bringing your hand up to the top of your chair. So wherever you can go here, let's fold one more time today. Stretch. Finding length today. Increasing our range of motion, our mobility. Nurturing our muscles, connective tissue, our mind and body. 3 more breaths. And as you're exhaling that third breath, maybe use your chair. If you need, walk yourself all the way up, back to a stand. Release that foot from the ball. And just stand in mountain pose, either feet hips distance apart or close together. Pull the shoulders up, back, and down. We'll take 3 breaths. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, lower. You can make these cleansing breaths if you'd like. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And last one, breathe in. And it is my honor, my sincere pleasure to teach you this morning. Thank you for joining me today. If you need to scoot right away, I'll see you next time. Otherwise, join me for a minute of chat and let me know how those exercises felt for you today. Thank you, everybody.